there's a lot of assumptions you're making that are not based either in facts of what the religion teaches, like the punishment system, who can go to heaven and hell. No Muslim can say for any other person.
I'm sure I can find a lot of imams that would not endorse your gay brothers.
Don't conflate Islam with Muslims.
So what you need to do is go to the sources rather than go to what people are saying or doing. You can find a Muslim who might be drinking alcohol, driving his car 100 miles an hour with 6 women in the back of his car. That doesn't reflect on Islam.
Sister, you're making an assumption.
Yeah.
You're assuming.
You're assuming that you know.
But
sister, you're assuming that he doesn't have evidence to support
Where's the
his claim.
evidence?
But this is a conversation, and you've got a coach.
Where's your evidence?
But this is a conversation that needs to be had, and it's not something I can just have. Here's my evidence. We've got to talk about
Your
it.
God is amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
So why can't you prove it right now?
Because it's not a. There you go. It's not that. It's not that. It's a conversation.
Believe in Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
So you don't believe in evolution?
It's
What do you mean by
mix,
evolution?
different thoughts.
Evolution, so from monkey to man.
Different
How could there be
opinions.
just one guy and one person disrupted when fossils show? I can put each step in front of you.
Can you?
This brother has more knowledge. I'll let him answer, but I can maybe offer
you
a
put them in
different
front of
perspective.
Yes, it's been proven. Darwin proved it. We can prove evolution. You can see where we came from. So to say that yes, you can. Of course you can. Well, that means, do you know, if you were to wipe away all religious books, I know you hear people saying this. We might not find the word again. If you were to wipe away all of science, I strongly believe it. And that's my
If you took
opinion.
all the Qurans in the world today and you burned them,
Yeah, and all the
Straight
people that
away.
believed it as well. Not in malice, but I'm just saying. So no one else can come to rewrite it, right? I don't think that the new set of people will come to this. My personal belief. I believe science will always prove itself. I believe we'll always still evolve going forward based on our environment. I believe a giraffe will always become taller and taller if the trees become taller and taller.
why do you believe this?
Because I do biomed. I did.
That's fine.
So you believe in changing of species. So we know that if it's hard for the beak to get into the tree, the beak over time, the more preferred bird will evolve. Survival of the fittest, the one with the longest one, and that's how you evolve. Their genes will be.
Who told you that, sister?
You get taught it.
So Darwin's finches, you're aware of that?
Yeah, that's the beak thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about the Darwin's finches. So what happened with the Darwin's finches? Tell me.
They couldn't reach their food.
So no, what happened to them? There were different islands.
Yeah.
They were on one particular island where there was a particular type of food that they were accessing.
Yeah.
They were blown by the winds to different islands where there are different types of food that require different types of beaks for them to access.
Yeah.
You're aware of this?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
The ones that couldn't access it couldn't.
All of their beaks are adapted to one particular type of food on one island.
Yeah.
They were blown by the winds across to different islands where there was different types of food that their beaks could not access. What happened?
You tell me. You asked me the question twice.
So the reason I'm asking the question is because the evolutionary process, the theory of it is you get genetic mutations that we hope are beneficial, that will bring about a change in the desired direction. Now, it's supposed to be directionless because it's random mutation, but what the hope is in the story is that the mutation was specifically in the beaks to allow them to change. How long would a process of thousands of years? So what would happen to those first generations of birds that couldn't access the food on the different islands?
The ones that couldn't, the ones that didn't have the beak.
all of them.
No, not all of them, because some of them might have just, the spectrum is big, so there's people that...
So on one specific island...
You're saying there's small beaks and big beaks.
It's not about the size of the beaks, it's the shape of the beaks.
Okay, now we're getting...
So some are curved, some are... And it doesn't matter how... If you can't access a type of food where your beak has to be a certain shape, it doesn't matter what other shape or how the size of it is, you're going to access it. So they were blown to the other islands. How long did it take for their beaks to adapt to the new environment?
I don't know, but I still don't get how this...
Because we're talking about the rate
I'm saying
mutation.
you don't believe in Neanderthals and Homo sapiens and
let's get the principles right. Let's get the principles.
So how you can't believe in both?
Right.
You can't believe
Guys,
in Adam and Eve.
You need to get the principles right before you can discuss it. So what I'm telling you is that you don't have the principles right. So this is an illustration of the thing that you've been taught for many years, and I'm trying to get you to think through the process. When the birds are blown onto the other islands, how long did it take for their beaks to adapt to the new types of food? How many generations?
I don't know.
1 or 2 generations?
2?
How did that happen?
I don't know.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but you're not getting to the point.
Have you heard of
Have you heard of
epigenetics?
No.
So Epigenetics is the phenomena where your environment can directly affect the expression of the genetic material from the cell. Have you heard of this before?
Yeah.
So, for example, if you eat green leafy vegetables, your DNA is methylated, and then you can turn on positive genes that are then passed on to further generations. So your grandchildren may benefit from your healthy diet because you've methylated certain genes and you've activated them that give you longevity or certain body shape or a mass or something, and that's generational. That's called epigenetics. It means the environment has a direct impact on the expression of genes from the cell.
Yeah.
Now, what we see in the finches example from Darwin is that within 1 or 2 generations, all the beaks were the correct shape for the food that was available for them. So what that means, so that's adaptation.
Okay, I understand that for the birds. Just coming back to human biology, you don't believe that evolution. It's either Adam and Eve or evolution. From your point of view, your opinion as a person.
So let me just underline the point because it's really important that we don't.
I do want to come back to that.
I'm going to come directly to. You can talk about gene 2, the gorilla. We'll talk about the split between the humans and chimpanzees. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
There's no issues here at all. I'm underlining the principle that the idea that there was a slow evolution of the beaks of the birds in the finches that were blown onto the different islands is false. This was a rapid change within 1 or 2 generations to the correct beak shape for that island. So what does that mean? That means that they didn't mutate into this. That genetic information for the correct shape for that particular type of food
Their
was
environment
already
expressed in 1 generation to change the bird. That's what you're
that
saying.
was the observed phenomenon.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. That was what they observed.
Okay. Over adaptation.
So that was adaptation.
Okay. No,
So-
you said it wasn't an adaptation.
No, that's
You
an
said-
adaptation.
Okay. So coming back to human biology.
So that's different from a macro evolution over time.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Okay.
So that example doesn't support evolution as we understand random mutation.
So you
over
don't
time.
believe in it? That's my main
No,
question.
no, don't put me in a box, sister. Let me explain to you my position.
Okay.
So for human beings,
Yeah.
I don't believe Adam and Eve were created by the Creator and they were placed on the earth. I don't believe that they evolved from previous hominids. I don't believe that
At all.
at all.
Okay. That's all. I disagree. I think that's
I
where
don't-
I struggle with the word. I don't get.
now you have
Look,
to
I've written here. No, I'm not. Look, it said it. It's the first part here. Created Adam and Eve. That's the one part I struggle with the word. Like say when it comes to in the Quran, to my understanding, I'm sure I could find a story to say that you can't be gay. So now if I can't follow your book to the word, I can't. My God is
Where
great,
does it
right?
say that you can't be gay?
I'm sure someone can find.
Oh, sister, it doesn't say that.
I'm sure. I'm so sure, but I can't find it right now.
Sister,
But I
it
can.
doesn't say that.
Okay.
And there are, if I'm not
So
mistaken,
there's a lot of assumptions you're making
Okay.
that are not based either in facts of what the religion teaches, like the punishment system, who can go to heaven and hell. No Muslim can say for any other
I'm sure I
person.
can find a lot of imams that would not endorse your gay
so
brothers.
don't
when you-
conflate Islam
Yeah.
with Muslims.
So what you need to do is go to the sources rather than go to what people are saying or doing. So you need to go back to actually what is the religion teaching, and then you can see what the people are doing or not doing, whether it's right or wrong. Do you understand? So some people so you can find a Muslim who might be drinking alcohol, driving his car 100 miles an hour with 6 women in the back of his car. That doesn't reflect on Islam. He says, well, I'm a practicing Muslim. That doesn't matter what he claims. You look at the source text and say, is he allowed to be smoking all these things and having loads of women in his car? And then, if you can find it, yes, verse 2, chapter 2, verse 6 says, you can drink loads of alcohol and have loads of women with you in the car and drive. Then you can say, this is scripturally based. Then you can put that on the religion. But at the moment, you're taking anecdotes from your experiences of people who are Muslims and you're putting it onto Islam.
Again, you're literally just going
Yeah,
to
but
people rather
that's
than
like
but I'm saying,
you've illustrated
So
my.
that's, no, but I'm saying it's not a illogical understanding. I'm sure most people will say you can't be both
Sister,
things.
what
like-
you've done is you've illustrated my example.
Okay.
Is he the Quran? We'll reflect, brother. Is he the Quran?
But he's been taught the same.
Sister, is he the Quran?
No,
Is he the Hadith?
but he's more Muslim than I am.
But sister, you know a lot of Hindus, right?
Not really.
Okay, you know some Hindus. Yeah?
Yeah.
Do some Hindus behave very badly?
Yeah.
Is that a reflection directly upon their religious beliefs?
Sorry,
Or are they just bad examples of what it is to be a God-fearing person?
No.
Did you see my point? That's what.
Yeah, no, but
my
it's
feeling
a bit
is what
too
this brother
subjective.
means is you cannot act on the impulse of homosexuality within Islam. This is what you mean.
Without
right?
it being a
Now,
sin, right?
what he doesn't mean is if you have
But
the.
you just said your friend can.
Sorry?
You said your friend can. Your friend goes out and he does gay things sometimes, but he's still a Muslim.
Yeah, still a Muslim.
So what am I saying to you? What I'm saying to you is because you said you can't be. If you're gay, you're going to be going to hell.
I didn't say that.
Well, you can't be a Muslim, is what you said, I believe.
You can't be a Muslim, yeah.
Which
You're
you
not a
can.
true
You said
Muslim.
you said condemned to hell. You don't
I
remember?
don't think in hell. I said you don't reach paradise.
Which
I
is
don't
there's only
think-
one other place to go, then, sister.
I thought if you don't, okay, so if you don't reach paradise, I thought you just die forever. You're just asleep
There's
forever.
a
I don't think-
paradise and there's a hell.
There's a hell.
So what that person.
So why did your God give a hell then? Why did your God that gave you a life and gave you free will now punish you for eternity? That's not a great God.
Is it not?
No.
Based on what?
Based on the few things that I was given and I made a few bad decisions, now I'm going to suffer eternity of hell.
God is
There's
perfect.
not a God
That's
that is.
merciful.
That's not my all-seeing, all-God, all-knowing God that makes no mistakes.
You know
and
there's a
sometimes and
scales,
lets off
right?
some gay people and
It's the
doesn't let off-
scales, right? So, like, if your good deeds outweigh your bad, by Allah's permission, you'll reach Jannah.
Yeah, but you're saying,
that's-
okay,
but-
so what size of a bad deed and what's the size of a good deed?
So
and
we
adding
don't-
them up. So I can't just tally up your good and tally up your
It
bad.
doesn't
They're
work
all
like that.
That's
different.
Allah's, like, role to judge us, not ours.
We don't believe that your deeds will take you to paradise. The Prophet peace be upon him said, "Rejoice." This is a hadith from Prophet Muhammad. He said, "Rejoice, because your deeds do not take you to paradise." And the companion said, "What? No, not even you, a messenger of God." He goes, "Not even me, unless the mercy of God covers you." So our deeds do not give us justification to be in heaven. We can never do enough. I mean, there's an example given that there's a man will come who said, "I've prayed all my prayers, I've lived this righteous life," comes in front of Allah for the Day of Judgment, and Allah will ask him, "Do you want to come into paradise because do you want me to judge you according to your deeds, or do you want me to judge you according to my mercy?" And the guy will be like, "No, I've prayed all my prayers, I've done all the right things, I've given all my charity. Judge me according to my deeds." So Allah will place him on his deeds on one side, and just his eye that Allah has blessed him with on the other side, and the deeds will just fly in and say, "This man is for hell."
Can I ask another? Like,
You can. As soon as I finish the example.
Okay.
So then the man will say, "No, judge me according to your mercy."
Okay.
And Allah says, "Okay, give this person paradise." So we don't believe the blessing of your sight, of your eyes, the fact that you're breathing, the fact that you're alive is much more than we can ever repay with anything that we do in our lives. So what takes us to paradise? We do our best. We're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do the wrong things. Repent to Allah sincerely. He will guide you. He will forgive your sins and He will give you paradise.
I've got one more
Go
question.
on, go on.
So say if I'm a very good person and I follow the word to its entirety, but I did it in a church and I called him Jesus, am I reaching paradise?
You
I
followed
said
what?
that.
What did you follow?
I followed Christianity, but
Okay.
I was a good person.
Okay.
And it's the family that went. I didn't want to go against my family, and I'm sure I got given all the information, but I still went to church and I still said I'm going to be a good person. But I didn't say that Muhammad is the only and Allah is the only.
What makes you a good person?
I'm a good person. I do good. I
Sister,
act with good
how do
intention.
we-
I don't drink.
How do we define what is good?
You're a good person. We all have morals, right? You have a moral standard.
Okay, let me
You
give an
don't- you
example.
don't
Let me give
sin,
an
you don't-
example. I'm going to give an example. There's a guy. He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Does lots of charity. Feeds 1,000 people every day. Builds nursing homes. Builds all these things. Does all these things. You're a journalist. You're interested in his life. Such a good person doing all these great things. You go to him and you say, I really want to know a lot about you. And he says, okay, no problem. I don't have time to talk to you now, but feel free to talk to me or any of my family members. So you say, okay, that's fine. And you want to go and find his parents because they must have raised this great person who's doing all this stuff. And you search and you get an address and you go, okay, I'm going to go and find. And you go there and you see it's a little hut on a street. And you go and you knock on the hut and you go into this room. And there's just one room, an old man and an old woman sitting there, shabby clothing, dirty floor, hardly any lights. You say, sorry, are you so-and-so's parents? He said, yeah, that's our son. Okay, tell me, he's a really great man, and he's doing all these great things. How did you go about inculcating him with all these good qualities? And they say to you, we did our best. We did our best. We tried to raise him in a good way. But soon he was 16, he sort of left, and we've never seen him since. Oh, he's not in contact with. No, he doesn't. In contact. Does he send you money? No, he doesn't send us any money. But we wish him the best wherever he is. Is this person a good person now or not?
That's got nothing to do with
No,
my question.
it is exactly. I'll explain. Is this person a good person or not?
Might be. Maybe his parents are bad. How do you know?
So they're telling you, I'm asking you the question, is
Yeah.
this person who is
I don't
neglecting
know.
his
I don't know.
elderly parents, is he a good person
I
now
don't
or
know.
not?
He might be to one person, he might be to another person. So he might be doing loads of great with his millions, and then he said, "Oh yeah, my parents they used to beat me when I was younger. They can stay in their hut."
So they.
Who knows? Like,
So this
he
is
could
the
be
thing.
a very good
So-
man, but
so
he
you
looks
can-
like a bad man right now. Like,
Yes, I agree with you. That's the intuitive answer to the question. If someone is neglecting their elderly parents despite their own success,
okay.
despite
What
however
about
many
the good person that went
so,
to church?
so I'm going to come to that.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that this is a bad act is because of how their parents raised him and the qualities that they gave him, they deserve his respect, and he's neglecting them. So he may be going around thanking other people. Now, if you do me a favor, and I say to you, "Oh, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that," and I walk away, but the favor that I'm thanking him for is something that you did for me. Is that wrong or right? Right or wrong?
I think that
Subjective. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want the glory. I don't know.
So you've done me a favor.
Yeah. And you took all the credit for
I
it.
thank him for the favor that you've done for me,
Okay.
and I walk away. Have I done right by you or wrong by you?
You've not done anything right. You are none the wiser, but that's
No,
between
no,
me and him
no,
now
no,
to figure out.
no. There's nothing. You don't know each other. I'm giving an example where you have done me a favor, and I'm thanking him for the favor that you've done me.
Yeah.
Is that right or wrong?
It's neither. Why is it right or wrong?
It's ro-
Either
it's-
way, a favour's been done, someone
No,
got
no.
thanked, and everything's fine,
No,
and then
no.
we'll discuss that later. Why did he thank you instead
No,
of me?
this is the thing. So who gave
it
you
wrong?
who gave you your
Is that
eyes?
the answer?
No, no,
It's wrong.
it's wrong.
Why?
Because you're the one who deserves the thanks for that favor that you've
Maybe I
done.
didn't want the thanks.
No,
Maybe
it's
you
not.
needed
It's not
the
about.
thanks.
It's not about what you want. It's about the morality of the position. So who gave you your life, and who gave you your eyes, and who gave you your breath, and who was it? Another man, or was it the Creator?
It's my parents.
Yeah, who gave them their life?
this is true.
Their parents.
And then going back until the first amoeba, who gave that life to that first amoeba?
Who gets judged? Everyone gets judged.
So the point I'm making here, because
Yeah.
we're moving on to another question.
No, but because you never answered my question. So the guy that goes to church and he prays and he's a good person,
If the person is directing his worship to something other than the Creator,
is that his fault?
it would be if he didn't search. Now, if he wasn't given the information, say if you're someone who has been never exposed to Islam, never exposed to Islam, and you're living your life however your environment is, there's certain things you would recognize. So you recognize this lamppost isn't God, that tree isn't God, this camera stand isn't God. These are intuitive things you would no one has to question you on that. Someone gets a rock and they fashion a form out of it and say, pray to. You know that this isn't God. I just made this myself. These are things intuitive to you. You see a picture of a man on a wall. These things are intuitive to you. Now, you would be that individual if he hasn't had the message of Islam. He would be judged according to his knowledge. So there is theoretically that person who's living on a desert island who's never had any religion come to him, when he would be judged according to his knowledge and the things that he'd experienced. And some say he may even be given the test of his own after his death to help to judge him and allow him to be judged correctly. So Allah does not judge unjustly. So if you have a Christian who knows about Islam, who knows that God is not a man, who knows that God is not, one being but three persons, knowing that God can forgive.
And that was a flaw in their belief, but they were still a good person. They just
No,
said
but
the wrong name.
this-
I'm saying
no,
it was a
it's
flaw
not the
in
wrong
their
name. It's not the wrong
just-
name.
It's merely a flaw in
It's
their
not
belief.
the wrong name system.
I think so.
No,
That's my belief. as
No,
well.
but you have to
can
think
yours
about
and I can
what
have,
is
and
it-
that's what if you choose to, and they're strong, we're stubborn as people. We choose to believe. I like to believe that being a vegetarian is right. I don't think eating any meat is right at all. I don't care if it's halal or not. So I could argue that meat-eating Muslims are bad people. But to your word, you're a good person because you've been given the word and you follow it to the T, right? But even then, I'm there like, why do you think you deserve to kill anything? You can live without almonds, can't you?
But
You can eat
this is
fruit.
the
Like, why
point.
do you have to kill any animal?
I understand.
So I'm
Who
saying-
determines
I'm
what is
saying-
right and wrong system?
Okay.
Is it
I've got a
you?
coach. No, but this is really interesting. I've got a coach. But
You've got a what? A coach?
I've got a coach to get.
Okay. So I would a few things to you. I would say the first question for you, sister, to get to the bottom of
Yeah.
is whether or not the Creator exists. Once you know the Creator exists, you need to work out.
You know.
Do I know?
You know.
I've established for myself that the Creator exists.
You know.
I've established for myself that the Creator exists.
So you know. But you
For
don't
myself,
prove.
I've-
Okay, for you.
I can establish. I can talk you through my reasoning. But what do you want for proof? What do you mean by that? Like,
Any
you want me to
proof.
hand you like a jar or something?
Any
or-
proof? Because I can prove to you that he's not.
okay.
I can't
Do-
prove to you that he's not. That
Okay.
there isn't a proof.
Okay.
And you can't prove to me that he is. So this is why we get to have these conversations.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why we get to debate whatever it is. No malice. Like just.
But
This is what
sister,
you
you're
believe.
making an assumption.
Yeah.
You're assuming.
You're assuming that you know.
But I've said,
But sister, you're assuming that he doesn't have evidence to support
Where's the
his
evidence?
claim.
but this is a conversation, and you've got a coach.
Where's your evidence?
So, but this is a conversation that needs to be had, and it's not something I can just. Here's my evidence. We've got to talk
Why?
about
Your
it.
God is amazing. Like, you
It's
can
absolutely
just-
amazing.
So why can't you prove it right now?
Because it's not a. There you go. It's not that. It's not that. It's a conversation. So what you're asking is unreasonable.
No, you're saying that definitely there is, and I'm
Yes.
saying I do not know definitely that there is.
I
So
don't-
in the meantime,
I know
I'm
that you
saying
don't know,
it's not.
sister. That's why we're having the conversation.
Yeah.
But if you want to know how I've come to that conclusion,
Yeah.
we've actually got to talk about it and
Yeah.
not play this trick of, all right, tell me now, because it's not like that. I didn't suddenly wake up and go, oh, that's my evidence, I
If
know
you've
it.
devoted your whole life and you still,
I'm still what?
and you're saying that you know. That's what I'm
I've
saying.
established for myself that there's a creator, yes. If you want to have that conversation, then we'd have to sit down and we have to talk about it. if you-
How do you get to know? And I didn't get to know.
We can talk about that. Do you have time to go to talk about it?
No, I've got a coach at 8.
I understand.
Thank
So that's the
you.
question that
Thank
came
you.
to. That's the thing to discuss. And what I would say to you is speak to people who, when you ask them about
This
their
is
religion,
what- yeah, I'm
when you ask them about their religion, don't just go on what their behaviour is or what their reaction might be. Ask them to give you evidence from the book. So can you show me in the Quran where it says this, or can you show me where the Prophet taught this?
And you're
Because
going
then
to
what-
be here. I'm going to come back.
Yeah, come just anytime.
So also, sister, take our
You're
email
welcome to
address
come.
because we can
Yeah,
speak to you off camera.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
And
not
just
about the
have an honest
You're going
discussion.
to show me that proof.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and don't mind about anything. This is
Yeah,
we're trying to have
no,
a
no,
take.
I'm enjoying it.
My
Yeah,
concern,
yeah.
my concern is for you and your hereafter.
Yeah.
Your sister in humanity. Okay, I'm from Pakistan. We originally were from India. It's all one. We have a similar cultural background. I have 5 sisters, so I see you as one of my sisters, and I'd like for you also to have the guidance that your sister had. You understand? So have that conversation.
Yeah.
Be open about it. Ask the questions, and we can go from there.
Do you feel how much we all care for you and want the best for you?
No, not really. If I'm honest, like,
We're
I'm
trying.
not going to. Yeah, you're trying, and I appreciate the trying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my last advice to you, sister, before you go, is that I feel like you're quite apprehensive and you're like really trying to battle this sort of conversation. And what I would suggest to you is that just hear the answer and just hear the reasoning behind it, and with an open mind. And if you don't
I feel like
accept
you're
it,
defending your belief as much as I'm
no, but that's fine.
defending
But
mine.
what I'm saying is that after hearing the explanation, if you don't accept it, that's reasonable because at least you've given the chance
Yeah.
to hear the explanation. That's all.
Okay.
But we didn't do it blindly. We were born here, probably like you. We had the same questions when we were like 15 and 16. We battled through those questions and we looked for answers. We criticized things. We thought, well, that doesn't sound right. Let's investigate further. And then after perhaps many years of research, actually we were convinced.
You gave it.
And we came back to the religion.
I'm going to take your email.
Okay, please, we'll give you the email now.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. It was very brief. If you would like to hear more conversations like this, please click here. Pray for us to make our dawah effective, and keep us sincere for His sake alone. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.